What's up, geeks and everyone else? Welcome to Geek Mythology, a podcast brought to you by my good friend Sal.
And Seth, also known as Sugey on YouTube.
So, this is episode 3 in the series, and last time we said that we'd talk about Avatar: The Last Airbender a lot more this time round because we briefly skimmed over the topic last time.
And what better to talk about Avatar about, if that makes any sense, than the characters themselves?
Yes, so this episode is going to be about Avatar: The Last Airbender, but also our favourite characters across
From a bunch of different fandoms.
Yeah, from a bunch of different fandoms and franchises.
Franchises, that's probably the better word.
Better word. So, without further ado, let's just get started with this podcast. So Sal, do you have a joke for today's?
Indeed, I do. Absolutely not stolen from our favourite podcast, Popcorn Culture. But anyway, so my dear friend, do you know what the right eye said to the left eye?
I don't know.
I have a feeling you do.
I don't. I've not heard of this joke before.
Okay, the right eye said to the left eye that something smells between us.
Oh, I get that.
This is one of the jokes
before.
that stuck with me from Popcorn Culture. It's
Was
just
that-
one of the jokes that stuck with me for some reason. I think it was because I was on the bus and I was just like, "Oh, damn, that's stupid."
It's a good joke.
Yeah.
It's better than the ones I've been making.
To be fair, like the koala joke made us talk about something altogether. But anyway, characters there.
Characters and Avatar: The Last Airbender. I want to start off with how great the show is, and there are lots of different factors to why the show is a big popular hit right now. Not just because it's on Netflix, but it was pretty popular even before it was on Netflix.
Its fandom got a burst from Netflix.
I think Netflix was a resurgence.
Yes.
Sort of like how Clone Wars Season 7, I think, sparked a rewatching of the whole series.
Yeah, definitely.
So there are definitely lots of existing fans who are rewatching it now.
And then there's somebody like me who really, he could have watched it like 6 years ago. He just didn't.
Yeah. I mean, I've heard lots of good things about the show. From
it's
you.
always that thing that makes me feel guilty is the fact that what makes it even worse, or I don't know whether worse is the right word, is that I watched 2 books of Korra, one back in like 2015 or 2016, maybe 2014, because that's when it ended. Maybe even while it was going, I can't remember exactly, but I watched some of Korra. We confirmed this while you were watching it, and I realized, hang on, I'm remembering things from book 3, right?
And
yeah.
What's interesting is I've been watching The Legend of Korra from various sources, let's just say, because it's not out on Netflix yet. But then I realized it's being aired on Netflix right now every day at like 8:30.
Not
Netflix,
yet.
Nickelodeon. And I was like,
and then it's going to be on
Netflix.
It's coming to Netflix August 14th.
And I'm like, wait, I could have watched it on TV because I've got Nickelodeon.
I'm gonna refrain myself from saying words that may be offensive to certain people, but you lucky man is the alternative. But yeah.
So Avatar.
Yeah. Can I just ask you one thing quick? Can I ask you one thing quick, which is quite an important opinion about the show itself? From what we talk about in DMs, because we're the only ones we talk to about it, probably.
Yeah.
You say you like Avatar more than Korra because of its goofiness, right? Which I can agree with as well.
I prefer Avatar. I just prefer the funnier sort of childish sort of shows. But I don't like very childish shows.
Yeah.
So like My Little Pony has quite a rich...
It's a mix.
Yeah, there's quite a good storyline and stuff. But I find it a bit too childish.
Like, okay, if we rank this, just a quick minute, right? Of the shows that I've seen, I'd say My Little Pony, right? Then Tangled and Big Hero 6 series,
Yeah, I've never
then
seen them, probably
then
because
Avatar.
yeah,
It's like they have those random episodes, but there's still a very overarching
yeah.
storyline. But anyway,
So
so yeah,
I prefer the goofiness of Avatar, and the characters are much younger, so I feel like I
yeah,
could relate more to them. And Zuko's around our age, and Sokka probably.
right now. Sokka's like 15.
Yeah, he's yeah, but roughly the same sort of age group. So I feel
Sorry,
like
my
it's I feel like it's more relatable
yeah. So do you want to talk
compared to
about
Korra.
said people
Yes.
now? Let's get into it.
Get into it. So,
So yeah, I just had to ask that because it's quite an important sort of opinion between like two series from the same franchise, but very different.
I'm gonna speak on the topic of relating to characters. Which character do you think you could relate to the most?
Oh, oh, can I say why this is hard for me? Because I don't tend to think about which character is my favorite while I'm watching things, and like when I'm asked this, I'm always like, who? Uh,
Yeah,
relating to the most. Oh, that's even harder than favorite character, you know. Uh, I can't. I really. Can you go first while I think
for
about this?
me, I'm
Because
gonna
I don't know.
say Sokka for some reason.
Is he
Um,
smart?
he's got that like sciencey smart thing. Uh,
Can your science explain why it rains?
Rains, yes.
Yes, yes, it can.
Um, but also he's just really funny. I don't know if I'm a funny person. I probably am not, but
He's the comedic relief, but he's not just comedic relief.
yeah.
Yeah, like they didn't just go like, "Ha, okay, soccer, you can be the fun." No, being funny is why everybody likes
But
him as well
it's
in the
it's like an
show.
awkwardness as well. There's an awkwardness to him, I think. Uh,
Is it because he's on his second relationship and his first girlfriend turned into a moon?
I mean, there's that. There's his awkwardness with that, but there's also sometimes the jokes can get a bit awkward at times.
Yeah,
They're a bit
but
like out of
yes,
the blue.
if I were to say who my favorite character was, it's probably Sokka.
Soccer, yeah. Speaking
Yeah.
about relating to them, the live action show that they're gonna make for Netflix.
Joe, sorry,
Yes,
Joe.
the live action Avatar: The Last Airbender show, like the show, not the really bad movie.
I have not heard of this yet.
Okay, so there's the creators of Avatar, ATLA.
Wait, there's even been a preview back in January.
There's a preview. They've announced it, and it's yeah.
Oh
I don't know if
wait,
there's a
that I
preview.
no, I think that's the film. I think
The
that's the
film was
film.
really bad,
This
but
is season one.
they're
I
gonna make
honestly don't know.
they're gonna make a show, like a series for Netflix.
What is it? As an adaptation or a continuation? I
I think
assume a
it's an I
continuation.
don't know. I, some people say it's an adaptation, some people say it's a continuation. But I was
Hopefully, it's not
thinking,
a whitewashed
no,
cast.
it's not gonna be. That's what they're
Yeah.
saying at least. But they're saying that they're gonna do an open casting call, and there's just this dream inside of me that's saying, you should be Sokka. I don't know if I can play Sokka, but
I want to ask, do you want to sort of go through the main cast at least, the very main cast, and sort of voice your quick opinions on them? So
so
should we start with the Avatar himself, Aang?
Aang.
Aang. So what do you think of Aang?
Do I think of Aang? I like him. I don't know what to say because
I think it's the whole thing about a child bearing the burden of the
child,
world
yeah,
thing.
and trying to fix the mistakes of the previous generation. Like,
Yeah.
um, and this is explored in the Dragon Prince as well, which I've been watching lately, about
As yeah.
how you're born into a world with lots of problems, and it's up to the kids to fix everything.
It's like it's kind of like what's happening in the world right now. Not to get into everything too
Yeah, I
much,
mean, like with climate change and everything, lots,
and
and not
even
just
like Black
climate
Lives
change.
Matters as
Yeah,
well.
so that's a big theme, but also you could see the emotional impact on Aang, especially in the earlier seasons. How He
and
always
especially
blames himself
trying
for everything.
and especially trying to unlock the avatar state
Yeah.
of like he realizes that he shouldn't let things go, but he should embrace them.
Yeah, but and I really like the wider theme of how where they explore how it's the younger generation who are suffering and have to
Indeed,
fix
indeed.
everything. And you see that with Aang, he sort of
Yeah.
because he's got that burden that he has to carry.
But
So
still, the younger generation rise up and
they
do
rise.
like come out.
I'm gonna bring up Dragon Prince again, but Queen Anya and King Ezran or Prince Ezran, they're the best leaders. They're the only good leaders in the show.
Yeah. Like, okay, Anya seems like she's an adult by basically. Well, Ezran uh is he's still childish, but when he needs to be, he can be mature.
He's got a kind heart, and I think that's the
He's got a
important
kind
thing.
heart.
And
So
yeah,
yeah. For those who have not seen The Dragon Prince, we would suggest it since it's from the creators of
yeah,
Avatar as well.
made by
Well,
the
directors,
same
creators, yeah.
writers and creators, and even the voice actor
So,
for Sokka
yeah,
plays one
it's-
of the main characters in Dragon Prince as well, which is
yeah.
cool.
Should we move on to the next one, who I'd
The
say is
next
probably the
one,
next most important,
Katara.
Katara?
Yeah,
Yeah, Katara.
I I like Katara, but she's not
Yeah,
my
I do
favorite.
too. Yeah, she is the mum. This
She's the
is
mum,
addressed in the
yes.
show. She is the mum.
I don't
She's
really
very
relate to
kind and
mums.
caring, right? She's very kind and caring,
Mhm.
and she tries not to go too hard on
Yeah.
Aang.
And then
Oh,
I'm
oh,
gonna bring
can I
up
say one more thing?
bloodbending. Okay.
I was
Yeah.
gonna say one more thing about Aang is you can see he's a kid because he gets jealous of Katara
Oh
and
yeah.
or like no, well no, Katara gets jealous of Aang, isn't it? It's the
Yeah.
other way around.
It's the other way
But
around,
still,
but
like we see even Katara, she isn't perfect, of course.
no, not
Yeah,
perfect. And this is explored a lot when she wants revenge. Near the end of the show, she goes,
yeah,
and I was like really scared. I didn't like seeing Katara being so angry.
like that. Yeah.
It was quite off-putting.
What were you go? Oh, you're gonna bring up bloodbending.
I
Yeah,
was gonna bring up bloodbending. I don't want to talk about it too much because I think it could make a topic on its own. But do you think bloodbending is inherently evil, or do you think that if used for a good cause, it's justified?
if we think about what it is, it's controlling the blood inside of somebody, right?
Yeah, and it controls the person, like
Okay, yeah, but
their moves.
imagine you do it without controlling the person.
Yeah,
It could be used medically,
yeah, it could be,
you know,
but in the show they've always used it
or evil.
as a way of controlling, and I don't know because you've got the healing aspect of water bending, which is already a thing. Maybe that
Yeah,
includes a form of blood bending, but then the blood bending in the show where you control people, I think that's a bit dark.
yeah. I think because of its origins is why it's probably
Yeah.
like it
Also,
is.
there's the Harry Potter curse, one of the three unforgivable curses where you can control something. Isn't that one of the
Imperia,
curses?
Imperia,
Yeah.
the Imperius curse.
So if the Imperius curse is considered a really bad thing, bloodbending is basically the Imperius curse because you control a different
Yeah,
person's body.
but I would sorry, I would like to think of it to be used like because it's still news, so they can
Hmm.
still if the world gave it a chance, right?
Yeah,
They could look into it and they could see how it could
it could be
be
used in a
used
good way.
in better ways.
Yeah,
Like I don't know, blood pressure.
yeah.
It might be good for I don't know. I can't remember biology, but yeah, you are. We've talked about soccer. We've
Okay,
talked about how he's the he
he's
he's
the
he's
funny guy.
the he's the comedic, but he's also respectable and smart.
And also, he represents the normal people, I think. You don't have to
Yeah,
have powers to do good and do things.
you need is a boomerang.
Boomerang.
He
So,
never came back.
um, next character, Toph, I think.
Off. I like Toph.
You know,
I
I
really like Toph.
Toph is really popular, but when I first saw her, I wasn't one
You're
of
like
those
that,
people.
that.
Yeah, I didn't like her when I first met her. But I know, like, you were definitely excited, I think, because even before you saw Toph, you knew who she was from our Discord DMs. And
Oh man, like you realize I've been on the internet.
yeah.
I've been in places more than you, and I've just heard snippets of information here and gifs even, just like seeing them. But like Toph is really interesting. She is that I don't want to say stereotypical character, but she is that character coming from a rich family, but not wanting anything to do with that and
Yeah.
coming down to others' levels and wanting to be with normal people. I guess that is sort of a stereotype because you see that quite often, I
And
feel.
I like how in the later seasons she becomes less bratty, but she's still got this sort of annoyingly jokey sort of thing where she calls people
Oh,
names.
I
It's
love
great.
the do you know the episode of the play, right? The second
Oh, the
last of
play, yeah.
well, yeah,
The Ember
where
Island
she's
play.
like, hell yeah, I'm played by a buff guy.
Oh.
Like she that's how she is though. Like she's
Mhm.
just a really buff person in a tiny body with no eyes.
Who needs muscle when you could just earthbend?
Also, I think it's really good that Toph was Aang's mentor because
Yep,
her
yep,
ability of her feet came in handy to
yep.
Aang in the end. Like there's a reason why Toph became his master is because she has that neutral Jing. And
Mhm.
because of her unique ability to see with her feet, which actually helps Aang in the
It's
end
it's
as
like
well when the Fire Lord.
X-ray vision in the ground sort of thing.
Yeah, but it also like if she's not on the ground, she kind of can't fight.
Yeah.
But when she is on the ground, she's one of the most powerful earthbenders ever, and it's just amazing how, despite her circumstances, she is just. I just like her. She's
Mhm.
just great.
So next character is Zuko.
Zuko.
My I don't know. I used to say he was my favorite character, but I think Iroh took the top spot.
A lot of people say either Iroh or Zuko are probably one of their favorite. Probably because like I really hope nobody relates to Zuko in his backstory. I feel
It's
I
really
I
sad, but that's one of
I'm
the reasons
sorry
why I
if
like him.
anybody relates to him for that reason, but I think some people can relate to him because like
People feel
especially maybe
sorry.
as they got older, maybe as the watchers got older, they kind of went through some hard times,
Hmm.
and they're like, "Hey, Zuko got through this. I totally get. I don't
It's
know. I'm
empathy,
just sort of
yeah,
thinking, but yeah, empathy. Like
and
he,
also it's never too late to do the
he
right
yeah,
thing.
yeah.
That's one of the big
People,
themes that he
yeah,
explores.
yeah. He is, as I would like to say, daddy issues boy, and it's
Yes,
just, it's he's really good because he tries his hardest.
yeah.
And if I just hate to think if he hadn't had Iroh,
Oh,
how things
he
would
would
have
be in
gone.
a really bad place.
But also, he's basically an original firebender now using sort of
Hmm.
dragon techniques. So that's really cool in its own
I
aspect.
love his redemption arc as well, like how
Yes, yeah.
he's indecisive
I'll be
and he
honest,
goes back to the Fire
yeah.
Nation for a time, you know.
Do you know how do you know how we knew he was going to be good because we're watching it like 10, 15 years after it came out?
Yeah, you're bound to hear
Like
things.
I was just waiting for the redemption arc, right? I didn't expect it to be so late, is what I
Yeah,
was. Yeah, I was expecting like end of season two, but no, end of season two is where he goes back.
I remember at the end of season 2, I was like, "Why, Zuko? Why did you have to betray your
That,
uncle?" I was
in terms
so
of when people call Avatar a
sad.
masterpiece, that is a masterful way of doing it. Like,
Hmm.
do something that people didn't expect,
Yeah, that is how you subvert
and makes yeah,
expectations. The Last
like
Jedi
yeah,
did it really badly, you
yeah.
know.
Like Zuko could have gone with them at that time,
Yeah.
right? He could have, but it wouldn't have been as good as where he was having his turmoil in his head with his sister being the monster she is. She knows it.
Hmm.
and
So,
like sort of going through the emotions. Iroh now? I
Iroh, I
know.
think this is going to be the last character, I think.
Yeah. Last of the main
Main
characters that we
characters,
really
yeah.
know enough, we can really talk about.
Iroh, absolute legend.
Yep. Yeah. No. MVP. Absolutely.
He's also got a sad backstory
Yeah.
in the way he lost his son. He got his throne taken away from him. Um,
Yeah.
and then
Had to deal with daddy issues, boy. I'm kidding.
but
He
then
he he loves Zuko.
he's
He
got
loves
a
you.
his opinions on war are really different. He's seen that war, you can't win a war. Everyone loses. There's always a
Yeah.
price to pay,
But
and
like
Iroh paid the
I
price
feel
with
like what
losing his
he
son.
thinks is like, if you are gonna fight not for your nation or your country. Fight for your own loved ones is what
Eh,
I'd sort of
or fight for
think
what is
about.
right, I think.
Fight for what is right,
Yeah,
or like even if you don't know what is right, think of the people you truly, truly love.
yeah.
Maybe that's not from Ira, but that's something I just sort of took from a bunch of different shows. But Ira sort of symbolizes that, and sort of like he fights so the children he knows of who are fighting just as hard as him, they can have a better
hmm
future, sort of.
And Iroh is kind of a sad character in my opinion.
Yeah.
He's got a really sad backstory, but that Leaves from the Vine song and the Tales of Ba Sing Se, one of the saddest moments in the
Yeah.
show, I think. That
It's
is
still
so beautiful.
he. I still love him because even at his age, even when he's thrown in
Yeah,
prison, he doesn't give up. He just keeps on training, and
yeah. And then
man,
another sad thing I want to mention is the voice actor.
yeah, yeah,
I mentioned this in the DMs, but
yeah.
I was so
It's
touched.
always good to talk about.
I almost started tear bending when I found out the voice actor was dying. Yeah, at the end of season
Yeah.
2. And when he sang "Leaves from the Vine," you could just hear the emotion. And
Yeah.
yeah,
Honestly,
Iroh,
Iroh is amazing. Everybody
amazing.
loves him,
And another
and
thing is, he's like the
yeah,
Yoda of the show. He's
pretty
like the
much.
wise old man who helps the younger kids.
Yeah.
But because of Avatar being a show, you could explore Iroh much more. Like I feel like Iroh is much more wise than Yoda from what I've seen.
Like, Star Wars has never really bothered to explain. Of course, I've never seen like the comics or like stuff that Disney made non-canon or stuff like that
Yeah,
is
but
now
yeah.
canon outside of the shows. But like Iroh is, well, we can't say it enough.
hmm
It's just
I
amazing.
don't I I don't know if you could compare Iroh with Yoda though. They're both the
Uh,
wise. They both
I don't
perform a
know,
similar role in terms of their shows, but
but
Iroh's got
I
a,
don't know.
a
Does
depth
Yoda
to
have
him.
any sad? I guess he's lived for so long. He must have had a few sad moments.
I don't remember seeing. Maybe this is just a problem with the Jedi in general, but you can't really relate to them, especially Yoda, because they're like these
Total cut off
emotionless, cold,
emotions. Yeah,
and
yeah.
that's what I feel like. I personally can't connect to Yoda, and why.
Yeah.
If I had to choose who's the better character, I'd have to choose Iroh because of that personal connection.
It is sad though that I don't know whether before he lost his son he was thinking about the war and how it was stupid or like bad, but it's kind of sad that he stopped only after he lost his son. Not that anything
Yeah,
against Iroh or anything, but like
but I think maybe he's had some views, but losing his son was
he's
the
also
tipping
been to
point.
Spirit World at one point
Yeah.
as well. We know
Oh,
that.
he went to the spirit world in Korra as well to live on forever,
Yeah,
that sort of thing.
yeah. But
Okay, so
that's Avatar. That's the main
Avatar
cast.
and
Yeah.
characters. Any other favorite characters you want to talk
Like
about?
other than
And it can be on a different franchise.
Boomy. I mean in
Boomy.
Avatar Boomy.
Okay,
He's a crazy old man, but
crazy
he
old
knows
guy.
what he's talking about.
And the Boomy the second, Avatar Aang's son is also like really similar in terms of being crazy.
But uh, if I was gonna say other franchises, we can just talk about Star Wars because
Yeah,
that's your forte.
that's my
I'd
forte.
say Kanan is one of
You
my
like
favorite Star
Kanan?
Wars characters.
Yeah.
Yeah.
For me, I don't know which is my favorite character. I'm gonna
Which
I might anger
yeah,
lots of people, but I'm gonna rule out the original trilogy cast.
okay,
Mainly
okay.
because I mean I haven't read the comics and stuff, and so I know there are
Okay.
people who would know them a lot better. But
I
just
mean,
from the
Chewbacca's pretty
films,
cool.
just from the
Chewie's pretty cool.
films,
Yeah.
they haven't you can't explore the
Don't
characters
see
as
that character
much.
so much.
But you
I
know,
think I
I
think
haven't read the legend
yeah.
stuff, so
I think
you know,
quite a few people would say Ahsoka's one of their favorite
I'm definitely
characters.
gonna say Sokka. That's what I was gonna
Yeah,
say.
Ahsoka's pretty cool.
I like Ahsoka.
Can I sort of try to explain Kanan? Because,
Yeah,
like, I'm not very good at explaining why I like things. I just sort of
you just
like
like them.
things.
Yeah.
But, like, Kanan, I like because I guess it's because he was a good master. Like,
Mhm.
he was probably a master that was like Kanan, right?
Yeah.
Not Kanan. I mean, like Obi-Wan. He was a kind
Yeah.
master. He didn't look at Ezra as just an apprentice, like sort of his own in a way, if I
Yeah.
remember things. And like even after he lost his eyesight, he still kept on fighting, you
Yeah.
know? Like he didn't give up. He kept on going to the best of his ability.
Mhm.
And Ahsoka's sort of the same. Like even after
Everything.
she lost everything, even though she doesn't particularly like the Jedi, she didn't give up on what
Yeah.
was right. She didn't suddenly turn to the dark side
No.
like Anakin did, I
And I'm
suppose.
gonna bring up Obi-Wan Kenobi because he has a
Everybody loves
sad.
Obi-Wan.
He lost Satine, his love. He
He
lost
lost his brother,
Qui-Gon.
basically.
He lost
Oh,
Qui-Gon,
Qui-Gon,
his
his master.
master. He lost Anakin to the dark side, his
In a
brother.
way, he lost Ahsoka, but not as hard as it hit Anakin,
And then
maybe.
he lost the Jedi, which was his family, his life.
Yeah.
And he's still, as Ben
Yeah.
Kenobi, he's still had faith in the Jedi, even after
Yeah.
everything.
Of course, of course haven't seen said trilogy, but
You need
like
to watch it.
we don't the thing that I know I've heard this and I've told you about this. Like I know someone out there wants to see how Kenobi suffered
hmm
after Order 66.
And
We see
hopefully
him as
we,
Ben and he
yeah,
seems to have quote unquote recovered. He's fine. He's sort of
yeah,
living his life. But like
we want to see the
what are the
turmoil.
direct effects on him?
And hopefully
Like
the Kenobi show explores this when it eventually comes out.
he lost some of his closest friends in
Yeah,
the clone army as well.
yeah.
If you think like of all the Jedi, I would bet that Anakin and Obi-Wan were the closest to their clones more than anyone else.
But do you think
But
maybe this is the thing that the expanded universe explores? Obi-Wan has emotions, but if you look on the films on its own, you could easily just say, "Oh, Obi-Wan was set to kill Anakin on Mustafar. That was the end of it." That sort of thing. But I think with with books and comics and shows, you definitely see Obi-Wan as a more rounded character. You see this in the
yeah,
Clone Wars as well.
yeah, like he sees how the Jedi aren't perfect. I
Yeah.
think, right? But he doesn't. He doesn't leave the Jedi like Ahsoka. He doesn't turn against the Jedi like Anakin.
So
But
yeah, I'm gonna.
yeah.
Do you have any other favorite characters from like other fandoms, like Harry Potter or Disney?
Um, let me just sort of. Oh, can I talk about Disney princesses quick?
Sure. Yeah.
You already know what I'm gonna say. Do you want to guess who I'm about to say?
Um, is it Rapunzel? Is that her
Yeah,
name? Yeah.
yeah. It's probably because I like the film so much, but also the
The
TV
show.
series, of
Yeah.
course, expanded on her. She is that person who is such an optimist, right?
Mhm.
And maybe I like her because I admire that of her, right?
Yeah.
even in the darkest situations, she doesn't doubt her friends. The thing about sort of spoilers, I suppose, but I don't think you'd watch it. I don't know if anybody else will watch it, but the two biggest villains of the show, right?
The
Sort of,
Tangled show, yeah? Okay.
yeah. The first season, it was a friend she met at the start of the show, a friend she quote unquote let down, or like that friend thinks that she let him down, right?
Mm-hmm.
So that's one friend as a villain, right? Okay.
Okay.
The last season, the big villain was literally her best friend.
Ah,
It was her. I think it was sort of her attendant as she was a princess, but also the person she grew closest to, other than
yeah,
Flynn Rider, aka Eugene Fitzherbert. She was the closest, but she never gave up
yeah.
on either of them. In the end, they both came to the good, right? But
So,
still, like
yeah, redemption
that's
arc.
sort of something she went through, right? And it's really, I like. I guess she might be too optimistic, though. Some people might say it's. I think it's also said in the show how like, oh, you can't always be this optimistic about
Mm-hmm.
everything.
So, is Rapunzel your favorite Disney princess?
Yeah, her right after I would say Anna, because Anna is
Anna
also
is
just
probably my
awesome.
favorite Disney princess, but
And then
I
after that, probably Mulan, because
Mulan, yeah,
you
yeah,
see the
yeah. I was gonna say
similarity between the three
that.
of them.
I was gonna say
This,
Mulan.
yeah, the similarity between all three of them is because like they're not gonna just stay back and oh dance in the ballroom and oh do
Yeah,
stuff here, do stuff there.
they're and this would have been groundbreaking at the time, I think, in
Yeah,
terms of the social stuff. But Mulan being doing manly stuff, manly, quote unquote manly, like
yeah,
that would have been not a big thing back then. I think maybe
yeah.
it's definitely more common now to
I
see.
think I think even now there are some cases where like I think like something about wages and stuff they're still not properly
Yeah, there's
equal and stuff like
you've still
that.
got the issues,
Yeah,
but
but like I feel like okay, I feel like
yeah,
princesses since maybe even Belle, right? I just thought of Belle in my head because like Belle, she's from the 90s, sort of
yeah,
Disney princesses, right? But still, you see her like go against what everybody says, and she still loves the beast. She decides on her own
yeah.
to go ahead and love the beast. I still haven't seen Beauty and the Beast. I'm sorry, but
The
still, like,
both of them, like I haven't seen
yeah,
the
yeah, both.
animated one. I've seen the
But
live
like, you
action
can
one.
see that Belle is strong in her own way to make
Yeah.
her own decisions, right? And then if
From
we
what
think
I've
about other
yeah, from
princesses,
what I've
right?
heard, I think the live action remakes are more feminist in take that as you wish, but from my definition of feminism, I mean
Yeah,
female
but like,
people doing
yeah.
not being the helpless princess who needs a prince to help him sort of character.
Rapunzel, she does things her own way. She doesn't stick to like rules a lot of the
Yeah,
time, maybe.
but
And the reason she's also a good ruler is like Anna, I'd say. She loves her home, like
hmm
Anna. Anna and Rapunzel, they know their citizens. They know their country because
yeah,
they don't live up in the palace. They live inside their kingdom,
I think this all
down there
comes
with
down
everyone.
to them being able to do things themselves. They don't need a man to do it for them, or advisors or whatnot. They can do stuff
It's kind of
themselves.
like yeah, kind of like Ezra and Anya. I okay, Ezra is a
Anya,
boy, but
yeah,
Ezra is a boy, but he's still a child,
he's a child. Yeah,
right? So in real life, you'd see a lot of that. Like when there's a child ruler, there's normally an advisor, right?
yeah, you've got a
No,
team.
Ezra
Yeah,
does everything himself.
okay. So finishing off this topic, I'm just gonna ask one more thing. If you had to pick one character, let's say you joined with or something, or you one character to go into the real world, who would it be? Like,
You
who do you want to
mean
spend time with?
oh, you'd like okay, you. This is probably easier because you've got Star Wars, Disney, Marvel. I've got everything behind me, Seth. All you have plus anime. But okay, I'll cut out anime for your sake,
Okay.
right?
Yeah.
Oh, because she brought up Dragon Prince, I've got Dragon Prince going around my head as well, and of course shows you haven't even seen, like the Tales of Arcadia and
I mean,
She-Ra
I've got
and
Stranger
Voltron.
Things. I had a
Should we stick to shows we both know,
yeah.
sort of?
Okay.
Okay, so that's like Avatar, Star Wars.
Yep. Harry Potter and Disney.
Yeah.
Still a lot.
Maybe Baymax. Can we
Oh,
say Hero?
Baymax.
Can we? Okay, no.
This is
Can
so
we
hard.
have Hero and Baymax as a pair? Because you
Okay.
can't
Yeah.
have one without
Okay.
the other. But I guess Hero would also make me feel really insecure because of how smart he is. But Baymax, cuddle. No,
Yes.
he's a big guy.
I
But
don't know.
also, I guess Rapunzel because of how fun she is
I
for
don't know who
Disney.
to choose. Why did I bring this upon myself?
Okay, for Star Wars, why would you say Ahsoka? Would you
I
want to hang out with Ahsoka?
don't know.
Yeah.
Ahsoka's my favorite character, but
Put the condition that it is confirmed that they would like you, they would be your
yeah.
friend. Not
Okay.
like,
Yeah. Yeah.
oh, they're not gonna like you. You know?
Yeah. I'd
Like
have
they will like
Ahsoka.
you, they will be your
She's
friend.
loyal.
Yeah.
She'll fight for you. That sort of thing.
Ezra's a bit weird because like he's much more childish than what Ahsoka was at that age.
Personally, I don't think I can go well with Ezra in terms of my personality. I feel like he's gonna be a bit
Yeah.
annoying. I don't
Like
know.
would you want to hang out with any Dragon Prince? I was going to ask that
A
just if
Dragon
you wanted because you just
Prince,
watched the show. Are there any characters you would want to maybe meet
all
or
of
hang out
them.
with?
Okay, specifically
You've
Callum,
got that phase. Okay.
specifically Callum, Ezran, Anya, Rayla, and the other one, the other girl who had the wolf.
Oh, what's her name? I can't remember her name, but yeah, she was quite nice.
Yeah, and I just
I
want
would
to
say
yeah.
I like Callum because he embodies magic in terms of creativeness.
Yeah, and I just want to mention this is what I've mentioned in DMs with Sal, but I have these phases where I am super into a specific franchise. So like in March, I had this phase with Stranger Things, and then like maybe a month ago now, I had a phase with Frozen 2, and then like 2 weeks ago slash last week, it was a Avatar phase, and now I think I'm having a Dragon Prince phase. And basically, what
It's really
happens?
just a phase of what you're watching.
Yeah, basically, I watch everything, and then I sort of listen to all the songs if there are any songs. And even with Avatar, it's not a musical. There are not many songs, but I was super
The
into Leaves from
OSTs,
the
the
Vine.
music,
Yeah,
soundtracks.
but I was also super into Leaves from the Vine that I've started learning it on the
Yeah,
piano. That's a sort of
yeah.
how dedicated I am with phases
I
that I get.
I know what you mean about that. Yeah.
So we're gonna move on to the song of the week now. Frozen 2 outtakes. You wanted to talk about Frozen 2 outtakes last time,
Do you
so
have any opinions on them first?
I'm gonna say I really like them, especially Get This Right.
Have you heard all of them?
Yes, there is one song. It's the
Yeah.
one called I
All is
can't
found.
remember. It's the one on the ship where they talk about their parents or something, or is it the one
I,
to do with
are they on a ship? I don't know context of them. What else is trying to ask her mother
yeah, they talk about their
about?
parents. Yeah,
Okay, get this right. Because you said you liked
I
that,
like the
right?
song. I don't think it would make sense plot wise. They
Because it's just this
replace
random romance song as well.
yeah,
Like in the middle of everything,
yeah,
they were making a big thing about him not proposing because of everything that's going on.
yeah.
So that's probably why they took out the song because they realized like okay, so their kingdom might get destroyed. There's a whole problem here. Okay, yeah, he'll propose. Yeah,
I really like Lost in the Woods as a good replacement. I think it's also a really
Because
good song.
that's talk about himself and his
Yeah.
sort of quote unquote turmoil.
Anyway, Home.
I feel
Love
like
that
that
song
should
as
have been
well.
in the film. because it could have been foreshadowing for the end
Yeah,
of where she becomes queen.
yeah. And there are lots of fan theories as well. Super Carlin Brothers, I think, made a video about how something's never changed. Always talks about these things that inevitably change. And Home talks about how Anna loves her home and how the original script. This is a theory that the original ending for Frozen 2 was having Arendelle destroyed. That was
Right,
yeah,
yeah, yeah.
and
Yeah,
how
no, that would also be good talking
Home
about it.
foreshadows losing it in a way. Context, by the way, Home is about Anna basically glorifying Arendelle. Basically, if you don't know what Home was about.
The thing about Home, if what you said is right, and Arendelle was originally going to be destroyed,
Yeah,
it could have also been a good, like, sort of, I don't know, maybe playing the soundtrack of it over the ending,
yeah,
right?
yeah,
Where they're rebuilding, right? They
yeah.
still
They
love their
rebuild.
home and they're
Yeah,
rebuilding.
but the whole point of Arendelle being destroyed was to get rid of the dark past and start new with a
Yeah.
with the Northuldra as a centerpiece, like a not centerpiece, integral part of the culture. That's what I mean. Yeah.
Yeah, I guess that's really all we could say. The other songs is like All Is Found, where it's like Anna trying to do something. No,
All is found is
Elsa
the
sing about something.
all is found is the lullaby, isn't it?
No, it was a whole song where Anna was sort of trying to talk to. I can't remember anymore.
There is that
I
song.
don't
I
know.
don't remember the name, but I'm pretty sure all is found is the lullaby.
Yeah, but
But there is that song. I
yeah.
know what you're talking about.
It's the one where
Yeah,
Anna's trying to get Elsa's attention,
yeah.
but still.
And then there was
Anyway,
another song which they didn't.
Unnotable Me
There was that,
is,
yeah.
yeah,
But
that
then
was
there's also
that.
another one which I don't think they released on YouTube, but they talked about it in a behind the scenes documentary, and it was the army in the forest and
Oh, right.
the two warring clans, but they sang a song that never made it. And the main singer was gonna be Matthias, that guy. He was gonna have a song.
I think he was a nice character.
Yeah.
He was like sort of comedic, but in the end, he still came and did what he had to.
So anyway, question of the week. I'll ask you the question, I guess. So, what are your thoughts on exams and the effect of COVID-19 on the exams? I guess.
The effect of COVID-19 on
Yeah.
exams. Well, the most obvious effect, and not my thoughts, is they're gone. No, nada,
What
gone.
exams? What are you
Oh
on
right,
about?
GCSEs, GCSE exams, right? Yeah.
What are GCSE exams?
Okay, so
Yeah.
now I'm the one giving all the. Okay, GCSE exams are basically exams you do at the end of high school, essentially for Americans.
So
At
yeah,
the end of secondary school, in year 11, and the grades
yeah,
you get sometimes go are basically kind of qualifications. Oh, the
yeah.
most important thing about GCSEs,
It's getting
if
into
you want to come,
colleges
if you
slash sixth
colleges
form.
and sixth
Yeah.
forms and college, yeah, no, our sixth form is American college.
Is it? No, it's
Yes,
not. I thought it's high school, like because their SATs, right,
oh,
are
wait,
kind of like
no.
A
Yes,
levels or
yes,
something,
yes. No, I remember now. So middle school is basically
like year six
year
to
9,
nine.
year 9,
Yeah.
while high school is year 12, 11, and sixth form is the second half of that of high school,
I
being junior and senior, I think.
you know what? We're so off topic right now. We're talking
Yeah.
about
Anyway,
school
basically, all you
systems.
need to know is that they're quite important exams.
Yeah. And they were basically all cancelled, I guess.
So, should I sort of say what I think about this?
Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah, I guess.
personally, because of how the UK handled it really early on, not to get political or anything, but from what I heard, we messed up with how long we let things go.
Yeah, it wasn't that
Like,
fast.
like places like New Zealand, that they already somewhat opened up because they did it early.
They eradicated the virus. They don't have
Yeah.
coronavirus anymore.
The only reason it came back is because some tourists came along.
Yeah.
Um, anyway, basically, back in school, is we closed school end of March or
Yeah.
like second last week of March, and since then they were like, everybody knew exams probably won't happen because of the close proximity of it, and you can't really do it online because that's not viable.
No. Yeah.
For a external government sort of exam, I guess. So that's basically what happened. And for me personally, it was a good thing because I feel like if I'd done the exams, I wouldn't have done so well. Because when it comes to exams,
I
exposing myself to
I
whoever's
probably would have done quite well.
You
but
would have
it's
done
the
all right.
revision. I didn't have to revise.
You still did some revision. We see that in your vlogs from the start of lockdown.
You know, I was revising for the mocks, but like I was revising as well. But when they said exams are cancelled, I was like, yes, I can relax and I don't have to stress out anymore.
Something I actually heard from my sister the other day is apparently the teachers don't have that much of a say in our grades. Apparently.
So yeah, we're gonna get on to how they're graded, and it's kind of weird. I still don't fully understand how it works.
Do you want me to search it up while you're explaining?
But it essentially uses your teacher's sort of assessment, mixed in with some they mixed in with the rank order. They get the students are ranked from best to worst, and for some reason I don't know if that helps, but apparently it does. And then they look at the past performance of the school. So like there are concerns that if you go to a poorer school or a bad performing school, you're gonna get downgraded. And then if you go to like a really good school, like our school, you're gonna get you might get upgraded. I don't know. So that's just how it works.
Do you know another sort of thing that went on with the grades is when sort of some information got out, like some grades might be lower because of the predicaments. But now when you search it up, the top thing is Oathcroft predicts slightly better GCSE and A level.
I do get lots of articles where they're gonna say your grades are gonna be significantly higher. But an interesting thing was in Scotland, because they have a different education system. But they've already started their new academic year, and they got their results a few weeks ago.
They got it on the 1st.
Yeah, apparently 25% had their grades downgraded.
Oh no!
But it's a different system. Right. Might be different here in England.
Yeah, I found a government Oathcroft article, right?
Yeah.
And it says submit center assessment grades and rank order information to their students. Oh, no, man, that's rank order about the actual rank.
Anyway, if you don't know what off-call is to just people who aren't in year 11, of course,
people who just don't know what off-call is.
It's the what do you call it? Like the exam regulator, like the government sort of body that nationalizes exams and makes everything standardized, something like that. And they're in charge of just giving people grades without an official exam, because exams are gone. So we're gonna get our results on the 20th of August. That's when we're getting our results. Let me just do some maths. When does this podcast come out? What's the date today?
It came out this Friday, so the day after.
So this podcast is coming out on the 14th, I think.
It's a week before we get our exams.
Yeah, so this podcast is coming out a week before we get our exams. Results. Are you excited for getting your results?
Honestly, I feel like, say exams had happened, I'd be a lot more worried.
Yeah.
So I'm not really thinking about it too much, other than, okay, we're gonna get it. And more so, we're gonna get to see people. That's another thing.
I'm more excited about seeing everyone.
Yeah,
because we haven't seen each other since March, basically. Yeah. I know some people have gone out to meet each other recently in like the past month, but I haven't been going out much. So it'd be nice to see.
I went out
people.
once to see a few people from over there. Otherwise, So I feel like, say exams happen, I'd be a lot more worried about it.
Yeah. That's it for today. Thanks for listening to our first podcast. Wait, no, I'm just reading the script.
The first podcast. No.
Thanks for listening to our podcast. Make sure you subscribe to us on YouTube, or if you're listening on Spotify or iTunes, make sure you follow us so that you're notified for when the next podcast comes out. So,
Oh no! As always, it will be super appreciated if you should share it to your friends and watching.
And just keep listening, I guess. And we will see you.
Listening, not watching.
And we'll see you in the near future. Goodbye.
Bye.
Okay. Right, let me turn my fan on because it's like so hot in my room.
Didn't turn it. Is your fan too loud or something?
It's loud, and I don't want the background noise. It's like 30. How hot is it today?
34 degrees according to my fan.
And it's been like at least 30 degrees for the past 3 days.
Yeah.
And it's going to be like at least 30 degrees for the next 3 days as well, I think.